Bienvenidos a Salamanca again. Uh, it's Monday again, and I'm actually on time. I'm wearing glasses, you may have noticed this week, because I only got 4 hours of sleep and my eyes just said no. So that's where we are today. I cannot promise you anything on 4 hours of sleep. It's so weird to, I feel like I've settled in here. I know where things are, I know when things are open. I know where the good restaurants are. I know where the possibly best flan in the world, as the menu will tell you, is. And I can tell you there are no lies detected. It is the best flan I have ever tasted. I have had it twice at this point, and I plan to at least one more time before I leave. And that is the surreal thing, that I'm out of here at the end of this week. That's it, and then I move on, and I want to stay. It's a wonderful place with good people, and I'm understanding more in class every week. And I screwed up and forgot the apartment picture. Bienvenidos a Salamanca again. You see me wearing glasses today, which I don't usually do because I'm working on 4 hours of sleep and can't promise what's going to come out of my mouth. But back to Salamanca. It's weird. I feel like I've settled in here. I know where things are. I know when things are open. I know where the good restaurants are. I know where according to the menu, possibly the best flan in the world is. They are not kidding. It is the best flan I've ever tasted. I've had it at least twice and will at least one more time before I leave. And that is the surreal thing. This week is it here, and then I move on, and I want to stay. It's a wonderful place with good people, and I'm understanding a little more in class every week. So, by the way, before I go, I should probably introduce you to my apartment. 2 pictures is all it's going to take because it's not big. Shows the whole thing: the kitchen, the table, the bathroom, the couch that turns into a bed, the unmade bed. Today in class, we learned different chores around the home, and they talked about hacer la cama, and I said, a veces, sometimes I do that. Most of the time, I don't. And the 2 beautiful flowers that we were given by a lovely restaurant owner. So it's small, but it's beautiful. And all the birds I have seen. I have to show you all the birds I've seen. Pigeons, a lot of pigeons. That's what's in the city proper, pigeons and house sparrows. And that's not going to be anything new to you, is it? But this is a wood pigeon, which is new. So it's a new life bird for me. I've never seen one. You can't really tell, but that is a green finch, a European green finch, which that is too. Okay, they're real small. I know. That is a European shag, and I'm not even making that up. That's its name, guys. I'm sorry. Yellow-legged gull, a white stork. They're all over the city and super cool. Another wood pigeon. Lots of pigeons. I believe that is a Eurasian blackbird. Beautiful singing, more pigeons. Here's my list, which doesn't include the Eurasian blackbird, so there are 14, but I'm so proud of that list and so excited. That's what I've actually seen. Lots of other things I've heard. Anyway, but this week I want to actually talk about this weekend because it was amazing. A college friend and I rented a car and we drove to Peniche, Portugal, to go to the nature reserve called Berlingas, if I'm pronouncing that properly. I don't know. It was a half an hour boat ride and a short, steep walk for a little bit, and then we took a glass bottom boat tour of the island caves, and then we had a choice. Get off the boat and walk up 300 extremely steep stone steps with no railings to the top of the island where we could see the lighthouse and pretty much anything else we wanted to see, or stay on the boat and hang at the beach for a couple hours. He would take us around. He said also we could swim back, but that was probably not a good option. Let me tell you, that was a cold, cold water. And I planned on declining the 300 stairs. Because for those of you who don't know, I am disabled with mobility issues, so 300 stairs is a pretty daunting concept, and I didn't think I had the spoons for it. But then I remembered several years ago when we went to Diamond Head in Hawaii, and I knew my husband really wanted to climb to the top. And I said, okay, I will pay the price to get in. I will climb a little bit, but there is no way I'm making it to the top. You're going to have to go on yourself, and I will hang here at the bottom and look at birds and butterflies and flowers. And so that was the plan. Mind you, at the time I had 2 hiking sticks, 2 ankle braces. I don't even know. There might have been more braces. Lo and behold, I got to the top. I don't know how. I really don't. And when I got to the top of it, there was a man at the top who was starting to come down, and he took one look at me with my poles and my braces and everything else, and he said, "You are the most determined lady I've ever seen." And I haven't forgotten that. That's just stuck with me. And so when I looked at those 300 steps, I said, Diamond Head Man, I am the most determined person he knew. Am I the most determined person I know? I don't know. But I knew I wanted to try it. And remembering him, I knew I could do it. I mean, there was a lighthouse at the top. And if you know me, well, now you know. Lighthouses. There were, let's see, I know I've got some pictures. Oh, I was going to, first of all, show you, I mean, look at this incredible place. This is the Barrelingas. Go if you're ever in Portugal or Western Spain. The caves, they're amazing. That is where the boat dropped us, and that is the bottom of the stairs. That is the picture that he says is on all the postcards. Excuse me. And you can see why. We are not in all the postcards, so I think, this picture is better. Whoop, missed one. There's the top of the stairs. The top of 300 steep stairs. And of course, there is the lighthouse, which is beautiful. And everything I could see was beautiful. And there's me making the obligatory toes in the Atlantic Ocean picture because it has to happen. Excuse me. But there were a number of people climbing those stairs. And just like Diamond Head, no one got annoyed that I was slow. They all cheered me on. They told me what was ahead of me. They encouraged me that I could do it. And I did it. Now, theologically, pastorally speaking, what does this mean? Well, it means a few things. I mean, one, I think the obvious. Friends, let's cheer one another on instead of tearing each other down. I mean, something I have noticed a lot is that in my camp, on the more progressive side of church life, we tend to be every bit as fundamentalist as the other side. If someone's thinking isn't perfect according to us, or if they're not as far along as we think we are, they're not good enough. We tear them down. We expect a precise 100% agreement on all the things, or we just don't want to associate with them. And friends, that is what the enemy, both the spiritual enemy and the present corporeal human enemies, want. They want us to tear each other down. They want us to shred so that we cannot fight the important battles together. That's the point. That's the goal. And we really need to meet people where they are and remember we're not really better. And help one another hike up that steep path ahead, because make no mistake, it is steep, and we will need every single one of us to get to the top and see the view that we want to see for our church and our community and our country. So grab some poles, get to work helping one another. That is scriptural, by the way. Also about that determination, it is going to take everything. These videos are called Baking as Resistance. Remember, that's the point here. I am not losing sight of that goal while I am eating delicious scallops and rice pudding for Mother's Day dinner last night. While I'm looking at the ocean, I'm really not. Resistance, no matter what looks like for each of us, is hard work. The top is far away and the road is rocky, and whatever your core memory is that told you who you were, that you could do this, drag it up, tattoo it on your eyelids, or maybe hang it on your bathroom mirror because that's less painful, probably more effective. Mine is the man in diamond head. What's yours? Write it down, put it up, use it when you need to. If you don't have one of those core memories that tells you who you are, Jesus offers it to you. He offers you a new name, an overcoming spirit, a life abundant. I don't usually get all victory preachy, but this is the time for that. And when the prevailing pattern of thinking around us is scarcity, there's not enough of anything, we remember Jesus' resources are abundant and they are enough. So yeah, together, you, me, Jesus, everyone else, if we don't separate each other, yeah, we can get to the top. But finally, sometimes their spoons really are used up, right? And I posted that about the stairs on my Facebook account, and my sister saw my post on those stairs, and she said, sometimes I have to realistically say I can't do this. And you know what? I told her that's usually even braver than taking up the challenge. Saying I can't is hard. I hate saying it. But when we are exhausted, when our spoons are gone, when we know, hey, it's not my fight at this moment, it's okay. And it's good. And it is brave to say, not now. To say, hey, I need a good Spanish siesta. And later, I will be back on those stairs. Do you know what we did on the day after the stairs on the island? My friend found a lighthouse that has a statue that is hard to describe. It is a man with a deer head holding a surfboard. Now, we are both suckers for highway kitsch, the two of us, and I have stopped the car for the biggest pie pan in the world, for a giant metal dragon who breathes fire, for a giant man named Tall Paul, holding an equally giant hot dog about which our family has made countless inappropriate jokes. You get the idea. We christened him Moose Man, and we set out to find him, which, as you can tell from the picture, we did, in Navarre, Portugal. While we were there, we also found a Ferris wheel. It was a street fair, there was a Ferris wheel, and if there's a Ferris wheel, ¿por qué no? Why not ride that Ferris wheel? Because that is what two pastors do on a Sunday morning when they are miraculously not working. Sometimes, when the exhaustion sets in, we've got to find Moose Man. We have got to find what sparks joy. We have to touch grass. We have to seek out beauty and peace and goodness and take a break, because that's what keeps us on the stairs. Moose Man and a Ferris wheel. It was exactly what we needed, what I needed, not only after 300 stairs, but after 2 weeks of stuffing my brain with Spanish verb tenses. And a monastery cat, because cats always spark joy. Hasta luego. Next week, I'll be introducing you to Barcelona. Bye.